Good afternoon, folks. My name is Josh Sprague. I am a supply chain major here at Western Michigan University, and I am a sophomore. And today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the global supply chain, what supply chain is, and talk about some of the aspects um, of supply chain, and then how it kind of affects the economy and really the world. So what is supply chain? So supply chain, in the simplest terms, is making things better, faster, and cheaper than everyone else. You do those three things, your business is going to make a profit, and you're going to keep doing them again. So main steps in the supply chain is number one, to gather the raw materials. These could be anything from mining, copper, gold, iron, zinc, to manufacturing. And manufacturing is going to take those raw materials and they're going to make a product. They're then going to give it to a realtor. So that could be like Macy's, JCPenney, anything that sells anything really, right? And then they are going to give that to the consumer. Consumer doesn't necessarily have to be someone like me and you. Could be a company, uh, could be a restaurant. Who knows? But a lot of the time, it is to regular people, just consumers. And so, as you can see on this diagram here, right, there's some big steps, but there's between them all, there's always the same thing, and that's logistics. So logistics is all about getting something from one place to another. And in my opinion, it's the most important thing of the supply chain step. And so logistics, right, is how do I get these raw materials? And I need to get these raw materials then to a manufacturer. Then I need to get the manufactured goods to a realtor, and then I need to get those to the consumer. It's also the hardest part. It is so hard to do. A lot of planning, and there's just a lot of things that go wrong in general, right? Think about a couple years ago during COVID. Who could have planned for that? But that screwed up all the logistics for a couple months. Even honestly, they could feel some echoes for a couple years after that. So in global supply chain, there's two kind of main ways to do logistics most of the time. Number one is cargo ships. With the invention of the cargo container, ships can carry a lot of goods really far, limited stops, and just easy to transport a lot all at once. Drawbacks to that, though, is it is a little slower, and you can run into a lot of bottlenecks along the way. Uh, Planes is another way. Uh, Mostly, if they're doing planes, it's a lot of intercontinental stuff, not really going too far. But the thing that is unfortunate about planes is they can't carry as much, so it's a lot more expensive in the long run. And so the global supply chain. So the world has never been more connected than it is today. Almost every single modernized country is in the supply chain. America is a really great example of this. America last year in 2024 spent $4.1 trillion worth of goods on imports. So they imported worth $4.1 trillion worth of imports, which is more than we exported by close to 50%. Outsourcing. So the thing that global supply chain allows you to do is outsourcing. Outsourcing is basically when a manufacturer, we'll say in America, finds it too expensive to manufacture their goods here. Might not be all, it might be parts or something, but a part of their product, they don't think that they can make enough money in America. And so they go to other countries and they make manufacturing plants there. And those will be cheaper and faster so that hopefully they can lower their bottom line. And that is really the main driver of outsourcing, is to cut those costs. Because if you can cut $1 billion, $1 million from your costs of a month, you just added $1 million to your bottom line. You just gave yourself $1 million worth of profit. The one thing that does suck about outsourcing, though, that you run into a lot, is it creates bottlenecks. And a bottleneck is the point in a supply chain that every other step depends on. And so a crazy example of this was a couple years ago. As you can see this picture with Evergreen, they were trying to park. They were going through the Suez Canal and were trying to park so they could unload. And they messed up and turned sideways in the canal and couldn't get out. And they were stuck in there for over a week. And the Suez Canal is one of the busiest canals in the world. Lots of product move through there every single day. And so for that to stop for 7 to 9 days, they couldn't get through at all. Zero product was moving through. All that did was hurt the economy and hurt the consumer because the consumer couldn't get the products they wanted because they couldn't get them there. And that just shows how vital that supply chain is. And that's with my conclusion is I do think that supply chain is probably the most important aspect of business in the world. Without supply chain, nobody can get products. The consumer can't get product. The retailers can't get product. No one can get product, which means the economy instantly shuts down. Without supply chain, we would not be nearly as rich or connected as we are today. And so that's why I truly think that supply chain is the most important. And really, supply chain really just comes down to the three main things: faster, cheaper, better. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and have a good night.